Ugh. Hello again. This week was all right. It was it was pretty good. Um, at least it was pretty good for my chores. Because when I said I get a great reset, that did happen, and I'll admit those had to have just appeared. I'll admit I've definitely been slacking on a lot of the chores I need to do, especially when it comes to just cleaning the house. I haven't vacuumed yet today because it's still like 10 right now, but I am going to be vacuuming today. Really, my schoolwork has stayed pretty consistent with how I did it beforehand, so not too big of a hi, not too big of a difference there. I'm still doing it, but yeah, not exactly in the way I want to. At least I got something out of it, so I'm not mad. I just wish that I could could do a little better do a little better all around instead of just in one thing. A little frustrating to effectively just be fighting a wall all the time. But it is what it is. Just gonna have to ugh, ugh, learn to deal with it. Um, I'm gonna have to stop petting you, Loki. So give me a minute. So, as far as goals are concerned, from last week up until now, I've actually done pretty good. Uh, I didn't quite do the recovery for my workout goal as well as as I thought I would. I did end up working out on Monday, but I didn't work out on Tuesday, which, that was supposed to be recovery day, so instead I did it on Wednesday, which, okay, I don't have 5 days yet, so that is still within. So now all I have to do is today, tomorrow, and then of course to start off the next week, Sunday, and then Monday again, and then get back in the groove of that. I've actually been waking up pretty consistently. It hasn't been that big of an issue, like at all. Recently, I have just been waking up and staying up, which has been nice, but I'd be a bit remiss to say that that's going to continue. Remiss. No, I hesitate to say that's going to continue. Damn, bro, you build up so much static. Um, I usually take my time with schoolwork, as I've so very well put it here. Oops. Um, and I don't think that's gonna change too much. I don't want it to be as like spur of the last moment, as close to the last moment as it usually is. So I am going to start working on that, trying to at least push the times but from which I do my schoolwork back a little bit and allow myself to get some good sleep. I know that one of the biggest fights that I have in terms of that is just a want to have time to do other things, but if I don't sleep, I'm gonna fucking die an early death, and I'm not gonna have time to do anything after that. So, not exactly. The trade-off isn't exactly proportional. I have to really work towards. Can you stop squirming down there? I have to work towards decisions that benefit me in the future instead of giving me a temporary gain, because they just never pan out well. Um, Actually, yesterday, alongside going to the village fest again, for my ethnography, I also went to the optometrist, eye doctor, to get my eyes checked up, yearly checkup, see if there's anything other than actually getting a pair of sunglasses, because the eye doctor stressed that with blue eyes, I should probably be wearing sunglasses while I'm outside. Um, They also had this machine that effectively can tell your diet based off of certain things, or to give you a number of how well you are doing with the diet, how well you're eating. That's what I mean. Um, Based off of like just putting your finger in it. And it was exactly as I expected. I was subpar. So was my mom, which again, exactly as I expected. I've been saying here, I gotta eat better. I know she does too. I don't know if she regularly eats lunch, but I do know she eats crap. When you're eating fucking microwaved breakfast bowls for lunch, or just microwave bowls for breakfast, it's not healthy. Yeah, it's better than nothing. You're not gonna hear me. You're not gonna hear me shaming that. If you need sustenance and there's nothing else you can get, fair enough. That's fine. I get it, bro. Jeez. But it's not healthy, and we have the privilege to eat healthier. Fucking take it. Plus, I feel like shit whenever I eat garbage. So I should stop eating garbage, right? Or at least I should stop eating garbage in such high amounts. If I actually went out of my way to eat healthier, I'd probably feel better. One, and it would encourage me to do other healthier things. So that's just something I'm gonna have to keep in mind for everything else because my mom decided to put that responsibility on me. So I get to do all that myself. Um, yeah, I got a lot of I got a lot of research to do. I got some ideas because I did spend a long time perusing just health stuff based off of YouTube videos. It was a fascination I had for a little bit. I don't watch it nearly as much anymore. Sometimes if it catches my eye, I'll definitely look into it, see if there's any new information. But you know, I there's still plenty of information from that little stint I had watching that type of stuff. Now I actually have to do some research, find either academic papers or just properly sourced articles that could help me out on this little fucking health journey that I'm having. You know, if I got the small privilege, I got to take it. I don't want to I don't want to leave any resources that I potentially do have on the table. I want to try and use them all. I don't want to waste. Never do. So, yeah, that's kind of how that's going. My porn goal, fine. Actually, there was a bit of a concern because, like I said it was going to be hard doing 7 days. And I was right. It was hard. It was very hard. So hard, I almost failed my challenge. Almost. Hopefully, it's not going to happen again now that I actually have that experience, but, you know, I can't control the future. I'm a completely different person every single day. I can't control what that fucker does. I can only hope to put guidelines as the current self, so that the future me, bro, chill. The future me follows them. We all kind of have to work in tandem with each other. Otherwise, we ain't gonna get nothing done. But yeah, otherwise, I'd say things are going pretty well. If I were to predict anything in these upcoming videos, I'm gonna predict that there's gonna be a lot more news of me struggling to complete my challenge. Not my goal, because again, I already did the 6 days without too many issues. It was still difficult, but it wasn't nearly as difficult, and it certainly wasn't as difficult as this. So if I have to deal with this, in comparison, 6 days is fucking heavenly. So no problem there. But um, I can't help but see that I'm gonna have a lot of trouble with this. It's currently, I think this would be my third day. Yeah, 3 out of my 7 days so far, which honestly I'm not feeling the pressure at all right now. I might later, but I already did 6 days. This is only half of that. if I start feeling pressure here, that's a good projection that I'm going to be having a horrible time. So hopefully I don't have a horrible time. Hopefully things are all kind of just good. And yeah, I'm I'm wishing my future selves luck, especially the guy who has to deal with that seventh day, because that seventh day for me was really bad. That was horrendously bad. So, anywho, anywho, I don't really have too much else to talk about. I'm trying not to get out. Oh, I guess I should add this. I'm trying not to let greater world events get me down because, oh man, another war happened. One that I might actually get drafted into. But it looks like things are going so horrendously awfully for my country that I don't have to worry about that. The perks of having a literal maniac running your country. Uh, I try not to let events like that get me down. It is difficult not to, especially with the whole prospect of actually getting drafted. I think I've made it very clear in videos before. I I'm not a big fan of the government, and having to mandatorily be having to fulfill a mandatory requirement of becoming a dog of the government doesn't exactly comfort me. I guess he got tired of me not petting him. Um, yeah, I that that just especially considering current president we have dodged that draft for Vietnam, an equally as patriotic war. So just I try not to let it get to me. But it's difficult, especially when your fucking mom keeps talking about gas prices, and I can't help but say, why the fuck would you why would you feel the obligation to vote for somebody who very clearly would do this shit? And it's just, yeah. I don't I try not to be a dickhead. I really try not to be a dickhead, especially when it comes to politics, because holy crap. I know especially people like my mom get sucked in these fucking echo chambers that make her see nothing of the bad, even though it doesn't take all that hard of work to find the bad. People are trying to show it to you all the time. For good reason too, especially when it's on your soil. But I also know that there was probably no chance of her ever voting for the other side because she's straight up low key racist as hell. There's no better way to put it. It's actually kind of crazy because there's no way she wouldn't vote for the alternative because she's a woman. Because my mom is fucking crazy into that shit. She's hella into the self determination shit. Hell, I would argue that she's effectively just the stereotypical, she can fit into the stereotypical American man role. Like, pretty well. But why would she not want it? I mean, sure, she is a registered Republican, right? But the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's just endorsed by the Republican Party. He's more than a Republican, especially when it comes to like the layman of America. He is not a Republican. There are plenty of Republicans in the Republican Party who I can absolutely point to as just straight up Republican. But this guy's a conservative, a hyper conservative, one who is more interested in the tenets of fascism than he is in the traditions of America or really anything American. He doesn't care about America. He only cares about himself. And fascism is a great way to reinforce his pathetic self belief. But the only reason my mom wouldn't vote for the alternative, aside from that, which even then, again, Donald Trump is legitimately so awful. So awful that people within his own fucking party despise his ass. But of course, party loyalty, which, what a fucking stupid concept. Aside from that, why would she why would she say it with so much disdain, so much hatred? I mean, I know why my grandpa would. I mean, come on. The guy's well over 90. I can't really expect too much from him because I know where they grew up. I know where they were raised. And frankly speaking, they fit the demographic for racist. Even if they don't outwardly say it, or they don't necessarily have a problem with sharing the world with somebody of a different skin color, the way they act and talk, they're perfect. It suits them perfectly to reinforce the racist stereotype and racist hierarchy of the world. I mean, after all, they're straight white people. This shit doesn't affect them at all. So why should they care? If anything, it does actually benefit them because they get to feel stronger, even when they're not, even when they get neutered. It's disturbing. And it's difficult to confront too, because the small times that I do confront her on the racist rhetoric that she fucking uses, because, if you couldn't tell, I do like edgy jokes sometimes. Sometimes. And it also depends on whether or not it's actually a joke. Sometimes you can tell someone's just so irony poisoned that they couldn't say anything but a joke. And then there's times where you can tell someone's putting their fucking back into it. But even with just small jokes, very small jokes, the way she talks, there's an earnesty in her words. You can tell she means it. And when I fight back against her on that, she doubles down. Not exactly a positive, is it? For someone as averse to confrontation as myself, I find it difficult to build up the courage to actually do anything. I mean, I literally had to have people push me to interview people at Village Fest this week, so fair enough. I'm very antisocial and not very confident. It's it's a flaw. It's something I'm just gonna have to work work through. I I I wish I was more confident. I can only hope to make that wish a reality. Um, but I I don't know how to fight back, and I'm afraid if I actually fucking grill into her, she's just gonna shut down and look at me with fucking disdain for an entire week, which that is a horrible environment to live in. I can't get anything done like that. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what, I should be confronting her on it. I should be telling her. I should be advocating for her own critical thought. Because, frankly speaking, the more and more I, get to know her, even in more superficial ways, I've come to learn that she is disgustingly inflexible. She is unbearably stubborn. Not on the right things either. She's stubborn on the wrong things. It's fucking stupid. Really awful. It's probably why you get stuff like one of my sisters claiming that my trans sister doesn't shouldn't be called a woman in front of her. And then my mom just complies because she doesn't want to rock the boat. This is not something that is worth This is not something that is worth not fighting for. That's your fucking daughter. And she doesn't care. Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I want to keep her support. No, she's still human. She just identifies differently. Why are we treating her as if she's not? Why are we treating her like a fucking thing? What is wrong with you? It's so soul crushing. Because you'd think, basic fucking empathy, basic empathy would be there, but it's not. Instead, just because she identifies with a different social structure, we have to treat her like she's inhuman scum. But no, we can still invite her to Thanksgiving. What the fuck is this double standard? It's unbearable. And I've made that very clear to my mom, but she doesn't give a fuck. Why rock the boat? I guess I'm gonna have to be the one to do it. Just it's just that lack of basic human empathy. I even had this type of conversation with my mom yesterday after Village Fest. She really doesn't like being there. I do. I don't even like buying stuff. As a matter of fact, I kind of find the whole consumerism angle of it kind of awful. But I like the social aspect. I like just walking through the crowd. I like just being a part of this street fair that is jam fucking packed. I like it a lot. I like sitting there listening to conversations that I'll never be involved in. I like seeing people existing and having a good time. I like seeing friends being there. I like all of the good, the bad, and the ugly of that human experience. My mom doesn't. She likes interacting with people on a micro level. I like people on a macro level. I like the whole. I like everything down to the finest detail, even when it's just fucking awful. But she hates everything else aside from the individual interaction. She likes talking. She doesn't actually like people. And she tried to defend herself by saying, "No, I like people." No, I had to shut that down immediately because it's not true. If you the way you seen her drive, the "I hate people," seriously, you don't say that on a consistent basis unless you fucking mean it. She fundamentally does not care for humanity, and I just can't get behind that. I've, over the past months or so, actually been trying to sort of become friends with my mom because I realized that blood ties don't really do anything for me. Sure, I love her, but in the same way that I love pretty much every other person. I don't really want to say I love you to her every night because, frankly, the way she means it, I don't. Because I don't. If anything, I would sooner say that to just all of my friends because that level of love does exist there for my friends. But it doesn't exist for this family because I don't see family ties as anything more than just blood. And that's it. It's your connection to the world. But I lack a fundamental respect for these people. And I tried building that. But there are certain things that I'm just incapable of changing, at least within myself, and certain things that I will not change. I refuse to change. As I said, I love people, even when they're awful. I find them fundamentally fascinating. I wouldn't be taking an anthropology class if I didn't. I wouldn't be trying to become an archaeologist if I didn't. I love people. Every ugly detail. She doesn't. If anything, the way she acts, the way she talks, and the way she goes about things, there is a fundamental distrust and hatred of others. And while, yeah, I'm wary to trust some guy I met off the fucking street, I'm not paranoid. I'm not my dad, and I'm certainly not my mom. And I just don't think I can imagine becoming friends with either of them, which is damn tragic. But, oof, I've been ranting for way too long. I thought this was only going to be a 10 to 15 minute long video. Uh, at 11 minutes to that. Anywho, after that long winded rant, I don't really have much else to say. I will see myself next time.